Today is December the 8th, 2022. My name is Tanya Finchum. I'm with Oklahoma State University with the Oklahoma Oral History Research Program in the library. I'm in Ponca City at Peter Pan Cleaners.
Yes.
To interview Baloo
Subramaniam.
1985 or 84? 85.
85.
85, graduate of Oklahoma State University and member of the OSU Alumni Association Board of Directors.
Mm-hmm.
And a very good friend of the basketball program through the years.
Yes.
And today's interview will be part of the project that we're calling the Remember Promise Oral History Collection. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about both of the plane crashes. One occurred in 2001 and the other one was in 2011. And we lost a total of 14 amazing people during those crashes. But before we get to that, let's learn a little bit about you. Start wherever you like.
You know, I was born and raised in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and I had there was a couple he was a geophysicist from Conoco by the name of Jim Reeser and Pat and Jim Reeser, and they're from Ponca and worked for Conoco, and they had moved to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Conoco had to open up a office in Malaysia for their offshore drilling, and my dad was the liaison between Conoco and his company to, when expatriates come into Malaysia, they have somebody assigned to them to take them around the city for 3 months, teach them how to drive, teach them what to do, what not to do. You know, here when we cross the street, you know, we look left, right, left. Well, in Malaysia, it's the other way. You look right, left, and right because, you know, we're right on the right-hand side, okay, where else it's left. And so those are the little things that, you know, foreigners don't realize when they go to another country that, you know, not everybody drives the same way. So anyway, they had the Conoco, you know, gave them a house and they were looking for a yard boy, so my dad volunteered me. And I was, at that time I was 16 years old. And so I would ride my bicycle for 4 miles every day after school and did yard work for the recess. And so when they were ready to come back to the U.S., there was a kid that wanted to go from Ponca to KL to be a foreign exchange student.
Okay.
Well, they couldn't find somebody from KL to come here. So Mrs. Reese said, hey, would you like to come to the United States and go to school in Ponca City, Oklahoma for 9 months, basically. We went to school for all year round in Malaysia, but you know, it was a little different here. So I kind of chalked that as maybe a courtesy asking. So a couple of weeks went by and she said, you know, we really need to get the process going as far as applying for the student visa and get your plane ticket and all that. And I said, Mrs. Reason, are you really sure that, you know, you want me to come and go to school in Ponca City? And she said, yes, otherwise we wouldn't have asked you. And I said, why am I going to stay? And she said, you're going to stay with us. And obviously I've known him at that point for a few months at that point, and great couple. And so my dad already knew about this and he didn't say anything, I didn't say anything. So and then when it came to a point where we needed to get my mom's permission to, so we you know, I grew up with 3 brothers and 4 sisters, so we had a big family. So one day we had dinner, it was a Sunday, I remember, and all the family got together because the family knew what was going on except for my mom. So mom was basically head of the household, whatever she said went. And so we sat and started talking to her about me coming to the U.S. for 9 months and going to school. She said, over my dead body. I said, you're not going. I mean, and we knew the answer to that, but we thought that's why we prolonged the whole thing. And so anyway, another week went on, and I think my sisters and my brothers and my dad kind of visited with the doctor and said he's only going to be gone for 9 months. It'll be a great opportunity. So finally, I think the Reese's had already applied for the legal part of me coming to the U.S., the visa and the school now. So all that was already taken care of, except for the plane ticket. So finally, my mom went to the temple and she prayed, and we did all the prayers that we needed to do for me to have, a safe journey and be back soon. So she finally said I could go. This is like a week before school started. And so at that point we were in a mode where I got to get everything done, get ready to go, because it's not like going to Oklahoma City. It's a long trip. So finally everything was done, and I left Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia 5 days before I needed to be. Because back then school didn't start till after Labor Day, right?
Right.
So, it took me almost 4 days to get to Ponca City, Oklahoma. So now, if we go home, I go to Chicago, Hong Kong, Malaysia in 1 day. 23 hours of flight, I'm there. But back then it took that long to go because you got pull jump from different. So I left Malaysia, went to Hong Kong. Then from Hong Kong, I caught, this is my favorite story, it's my favorite airline, it's Pan American Airlines. I don't know if you remember that,
Yep.
But that's my favorite. So, you see that white plane with blue letters saying Pan American Airlines. So I boarded Pan American in Hong Kong. Then I flew to Taipei. And from Taipei, I went to Guam. So from Guam, I went to Honolulu. And from Honolulu, I went to San Francisco. From San Francisco, I went to Denver. From Denver, I came to Oklahoma City. But I overnight in San Francisco.
Oh.
So then they came and picked me up. They had warned me that Ponca is a very, very small town compared to Malaysia. I grew up with 4 million people in the town I grew up, and then we had high rises and all that. So they picked me up in Oklahoma City, and they had I still remember they had a white Chevy Impala that I thought, we're not used to big cars like that, just what you see in movies. So I got in the car, I was in the back seat, and so it's like you could put 10 people in the back seat, and so we were heading north, and then we turned east on Highway 60 to head towards Ponca, and I see all these lights, and then I started going, I said, Mr. Reeser, I thought you said there was no high rises in Ponca, and I see all this lights up there, and they both started just laughing. I said, did I say something wrong? Because no, what you see up there is the refinery. Mm. Ponca had that refinery, and so that's where it started. And I came here on a Friday night, spent Saturday, Sunday trying to, get used to it's a whole different environment that I had experienced, because in Malaysia it stays between 90 and 95 all year round. Sometimes it'll drop to 90, 88, sometimes it'll go up to 95, 96, but it's pretty tropical with 100% humidity. So I got accustomed, went to school Tuesday after Labor Day, and it was very, very cold, and I'm not used to cold, so I was bundling out there telling me to put this off, and first day I went to school, I had tennis shoes on, which then by the time I got to the school, I couldn't feel my toes because it was so cold. So I remember there's a Wednesday, it started snowing. And I had never seen snow in my life.
Mm.
So I just started going by the window, and the teacher told me to sit down, and I said, "That's snow." She goes, "Yeah, we get that in the wintertime." And I said, "I've never seen snow before." And she goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "I'm from Malaysia. It stays 90 degrees all year round." So she said, "Really?" And I said, "Well," she said, "let's go outside." So I'm outside, trying to catch snow and eat it and all, So all the kids came out, and so that was an experience that you never forget, So that's how my life started here, and
you were 16? 16.
yeah, so
Did you get homesick pretty quick?
very quick, yeah, very quick, because obviously the food is the major thing that we in Malaysia, there was Chinese, Malays, Indians, and Christians, and they all cook all different food. So in Malaysia, you can eat breakfast for 30 days, they say, and I know that's true, but not eat the same breakfast. Here, you can run out of food to eat.
Yep.
Right. So it's just because it's a multinational country that people have different breakfasts, different. So then I was homesick with my. That's the first time I've ever been out of the country. I left home per se. So the hardest thing that I had problem with is the slang. I remember I was in the band. I played the trumpet. We had gone on a band trip for the OOHRP game, and that's when I decided that I was going to go to school at OSU. So how band, you do your thing and you sit down and watch the game, and so I was sitting about 3 slots, from the end of the bench, and this blonde called Sarah Northcutt, she said, "Blue, scoot over." And I looked at her and laughed at her, and she said, "Blue, scoot over." And she goes, "Blue, move." And I go, "Oh, why didn't you tell me so?" And if you, that day I went back and looked up in the dictionary, the word "scoot over," it's not there. Move over is scoot over, it's not there. So, those kind of things that I had to learn, that was different. The slang was just, so, but, you just said you're from Tennessee, right?
Right.
And, but I love Oklahoma. I love Oklahoma State.
You could have, on that day though, you could have easily have said, "Oh, I'm going to go to OU." What was it about OSU that just stuck with you?
I don't know. I think that wasn't the factor that really got me to OSU is that when I like the color to start with. Obviously, a couple of those people that I was in the band with, they were all going to OSU. When I went to OU for an interview to go to college, and I went to OSU, went to UT, TU, and I was sitting outside the library at OSU and trying to decide where I wanted to go to school, beside the scholarship that was offered to different schools. On the south side of the library, I was sitting there, and the question you asked me, why I decided to go to OSU, is because 9 out of 10 kids came to me and said if I was okay, if there's anything they can do. and 1 out of 10 kids did that at OU. So when we talk about our OSU family, it's a true statement. I mean, we didn't have that family there for a while, but I think it's back to where it should be. And with the Dr. Schramp and Chad Weiberg, and Blair Atkins, I think that I feel like that's my second family.
Did you stay in Ponca more than that 9 months?
I had gone back.
Okay.
I had got enrolled to come back to college. I went to Northern Oklahoma College for a year, and then went to OSU. So when I came back, well, I'm from a very, very poor family, obviously, with 3 brothers and 4 sisters, and my dad, I couldn't afford to come back. So my parents, my mom took her gold stuff. Indians don't have diamonds, they have gold. So they went to the pawn shop, pound the chain and all that to buy me a plane ticket back to the U.S. So I am the first one in my family to get a college degree.
Okay, that was my next question.
I'm very, very grateful that my mom and my dad, my sisters, that did everything possible to send me back to the U.S., which I'm so grateful that till today, I still send money home to my sisters. My parents are dead. They died my mom died in '86 of cancer, and my dad died 2 years later because he didn't want to live anymore after my mom died. So, but people complain and moan and groan about this country, and as an immigrant, as an exchange student, this is the best country in the world. And people just don't realize what they have. So, and sorry, I'm kind of, but it always gets me when I talk about how I came here.
Yeah, and you decided to stay in Ponca versus somewhere else in Oklahoma.
Right. And this city is the greatest city, Polk City. They have embraced me from the day one. And the kids at the high school were great. But Ponca, OSU.
Yeah, just up the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And eventually, when I retire, we'll move to Stillwater, and that's our goal. I guess we'll go to all the sporting events, football, basketball, whatever. So, and as we get older, we don't want to drive so much. So, eventually we'll move to Stillwater. But
well, once you got to Stillwater for going to college, where did you live at that point?
I worked in a hotel here as a night desk clerk from 11 in the nighttime to 7 in the morning, and then I had a little apartment out here. I would go into one of those rooms that people checked out. I would go and take a shower, get ready, and then drove to Stillwater every day.
So you commuted, which is about not quite an hour drive.
45 minutes, yeah. From where I was. The hotel was the first hotel when you come out. It's on the east side, so it was, in 45 minutes, easy. I was there. So
you were determined. I mean, that's
yeah.
What was
I was here all by myself. I did everything to.
Were the research still in the?
Yes, I really don't want to put this story out on the news, but if you want to turn it off, I'll explain.
No, you can tell me.
They're both dead now, but their kids are still alive. They're great people, but I just wanted to be on my own.
Sure.
Yeah. So.
And what was your major?
It was management science and computer systems, and a business degree. So I had started in geology, which is what I wanted to do, but when I was getting ready to graduate, there was not jobs. So back in the 70s, 75, when was the oil?
Early 80s, there were some issues.
They weren't hiring any geologists, so I looked ahead and said, they weren't even hiring geologists with PhD degrees. So I changed my major and kind of had that, and computers and business, and worked out where I'm using what I learned from OSU, different aspects of the degrees. So it was tough. It was very hard. I would live on. So back then, OSU they had chili dogs, about 6-inch chili dogs. That was for a quarter. So I would get a chili dog and drink 2 glasses of water at lunch hour, and then that was my lunch. Now when I came back, I went to the hotel and did maintenance work, and there was an Indian family that owned the hotel. She would usually cook me some tea or something to eat. She know that I only had that. And then in the evenings, I would cook myself rice-a-roni, and that would last me for 2 meals. That was pretty much my life for 5-6 years while I was going to college. And I barely had money for gas, but sometimes with corporal, sometimes when I was in geology, I had labs I had to go to, so I had to drive on my own. But when I got out of college, I did not owe a penny to anybody. So
that doesn't happen very often
today. I am
today.
proud of myself for that, because I didn't have any help from my family. It was me, and now when we look at, we want to give away student loans and I go, they're not going to learn anything by giving things away. I can understand giving help, but as an immigrant, I did it on my own. Why can't people here do the same thing? And I understand this group of people that really need help. This group up here that got scholarship and stuff that don't need the money, but you reward them for their academics. But then there's in between that need or may not need money, but they may need help. But Dr. Shump has that new vision about not having a student get out of college every year with just what, about $3,000.
Yeah.
And that's a $47 million bill a year, if the math is right. That somehow either the school or donors have to come up with that money. So that's a big number. That's a yearly number, not just once a number. So hopefully, we can do that by however she's going to raise the funds. So, but
well, in our day, tuition was a little cheaper too.
Well, I paid out of state tuition.
Oh, okay. Well,
$270 a credit hour, and so it was cheaper, but it's a lot more now than it is. But tuition has gone up sky high. So our daughter, pretty much, she graduated in 2020 during COVID year. We started a college fund for her when she was born, and she had $126,000 in an account, and we pretty much used all of it for 4 years. So
she went to OSU.
Yeah.
Did she commute?
No. Her life was a little bit different than my life ever was. But as parents, And you know that. You want the best for your kids, and you don't want them to do what the way you were brought up or suffered or whatever. And that's me. So no, she didn't even suffer 10% of what I went through. Maybe not even that.
What do you remember graduation day
For me,
for you? Yeah.
I did not go through graduation because I had to work, and so I went to work instead of graduating. I mean, I didn't go through graduation, but I did in high school. But I didn't at OSU.
Other priorities.
Huh?
Other priorities.
Yeah. So
So what was your first job after graduating?
So Conoco had hired me when I got out of college. So I had a job before I got out of college, but boy, I got a long story, but I don't know if you want to listen to this. So, in my business law class, I had to write a paper on a mom and pop business going public. So I had gone to the library, tried to do some research on what I wanted to do. Couldn't think of anything, just, it was like midnight, library's gonna be closing, and so I walk out. I see Newsweek magazine. Remember Newsweek?
Mhm.
It said Dry Cleaning USA went public. So I took the magazine. I kind of borrowed the magazine. And so I did a research paper on a dry cleaners going public. So I interviewed the dry cleaners in Ponca, copied the pen cleaners. W.D. and Billy Hogan was the father-in-law and mother-in-law of Chuck Watson. Chuck and Kim Watson, do you know who they are? The big OSU donors.
Okay.
If you would go into Gallagher, Iowa, on the north side, where the statue is, their pictures on that.
Okay.
Yeah, they were the initial big donors, donated the money for Gallagher to add on to Gallagher.
Raise the roof. Okay.
Yeah. So I interviewed W.D. Hogan several times and theoretically I knew everything about running the dry cleaners. So turned the paper in May of '96, was very, very proud of it. That was my last term paper to write anyway, I was so glad. So a couple of weeks later I went by to see him and his wife was there and I said, W.D. around? She goes, Baloo, he had a heart attack. So he's home recovering. She said, do you need something? I said, no, I just wanted to show him this paper that I made, '96. So I said, okay. I said, well, here's my phone number. Have him call me when he gets feel better. Well, we didn't have cell phones back then, If they did, it was pretty expensive. So a couple of weeks later, he called me one night and said, come over for dinner. I'll have Billy cook you some dinner and we'll visit. You can bring me your paper. And I said, okay. So I go to this house and they lived in a 1,200 square foot house on Cooley Street over here in Ponca. So I go, had a good dinner, and he said, we'll have dessert later. I want to show you something. He said, he had this little twin bed. He said, this is all of what I have. And I said, I'm thinking back of mine, I said, why is he telling me or showing me all his financial stuff? He said, he had apartments and a little bank stock, owned a part of a bank, and then he had the dry cleaners, and they had a lot of rental properties and their stock portfolio. And he said, "This is all I have." And he was a multi-millionaire.
Hmm.
"This is all from the cleaners." I said, "Great, you did well." He said, "You need to buy the cleaners from me." And I go, "Deputy, I got a job at Conoco that pays me $36,000. He said, "I just showed you this because you're going to make a lot more money running this cleaners than." So this kind of went on back and forth, back and forth. He gave me all the financial statement, and so I go see a guy by the name of Rex Horning in First National Bank. Do you know who Rex Horning is?
I recognize the name.
But
yes.
this is in Ponca. He worked for First National Bank in Ponca, and he said, "Go see him, and we'll see how much money you can borrow." I said, "How much do you want for the business?" She said, $95,000. That includes the equipment and all that. Equipment, building, and the business was $95,000. And I go, "Deputy, I have $176 in my checking account. That's all I have. I cannot buy this business. You go talk to him." So just to make the old man happy, since he had a heart attack, so I go talk to Rex, and he said, "Come back in a couple of days." And so I go back, and he goes, "We can loan you $65,000. I said, "Thank you." So I took everything, I take back that to WD Hogan and said, "WD, can't do it." Said they're only going to go me $65,000, and he said, I said, "I can't do this." He said, Stop. He said, "I think you can go back to the bank and ask for $70,000. And I said, "Still, I'm short. $25,000. Where am I going to come up with it?" He said, "I will do a second mortgage on it." And I said, "Okay, but you got to come up with $5,000 for working capital." I said, "FD, I don't have the money to do that." And so the Indian guy, T.G. Patel, that I worked for him at the motel, I gave him all the financial stuff since he had owned a couple of motels. And I said, "This is it. This is how much he wants for it." And I still have to come up with $5,000. And he looked at all the financials and said, "I think you make more money doing this than working with Conoco." Eventually, when the debt's up here, I said, "TD, I don't have $5,000. So I said, "Okay." He said, "Wait a minute." So he goes back and brings me a check for $5,000. He said, "You've saved me so much money throughout the years. Pay me not." So I started in the dry cleaning business April 1st of 1985. So, and
No regrets.
no regrets. No, I'd do it again. I think my portfolio is exactly the same as what I own a little part of this bank right across the street, you see. And we have 4 banks, one here, one in Caldwell, and 2 in Oklahoma City. And stock portfolio, I got a bunch of rental properties in Stillwater, and so what WD said about his portfolio and what I have is exactly the same. And my wife and I have donated $1 million to OSU over the, and so I'm very grateful for OSU, and that's what we give back. And we just got initiated in the Proud and Immortal Society.
Okay.
My wife and I did, and so it's all about giving back, isn't it? People have no concept on what your parents do for you, or your relatives or your friends or your school. It's all a circle that if we don't give, the circle breaks. And somebody have to fix that bridge. And that may take 2 days, maybe 10 years. But if we keep continuing the circle of life and give to not just OSU, but whoever you want it, could be a kid down the road. But that's, I think, what life is all about, is giving. And I am so fortunate that I'm here to be able to sit here and interview with you. And I will say it again, this is the best country in the world that we take for granted. I'm saying we, when there's, I'm sure there's 70-80% of people here don't think that way. But then there's people that do think that way, that it's all about gimme, gimme, gimme. You know, what can you give me? So I say, ask what can you give? You know, because you know God always says the more you give, the more you receive, and my wife and I always strongly feel about that. And my wife is a greater supporter of me, and she loves OSU.
Is that where you met her?
I met her here in Ponca, but she went to school OSU one year, and then she went back to, she's from Maryland, and she graduated from Notre Dame, all Catholic school. So, so my life is it's a story that it's not a story that everyday story, you know.
No, and I think it goes back to your dad volunteering you
Right.
to be the yard
Right,
guy.
and I'm always grateful to the researchers for bringing me here. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here.
Opportunity knocked and you answered. Yeah.
And so, if I would be still in Malaysia, I would probably be an auto mechanic, which is what I love. You know, I'm also a private pilot that I learned to fly here, which is always, it's one thing I wanted to do, to be a pilot. And I couldn't do it because I couldn't afford to, you know. But I told myself when I took a position, I could do that. And I got my pilot license in 1985. So I still love to fly. I don't fly anymore, but that's one of my passions. I love watching men's basketball, women's basketball.
How did you get interested in that? How did that come about?
So it started when we had expanded and was building the cleaners in Stillwater in 1995. In 94 is when we started the construction process at Fountain Square Cleaners. And
I pass it every day.
yeah, okay. We just sold it this year. I'm trying to retire. So as I install all the equipment myself, and we build the cleaner. This one, you know, my wife and I built this, and so when we were building the cleaners in Stillwater, towards the very end, we were getting a lot of deliveries of different stuff, you know, and people walking in and out of that place. So one day I heard footsteps coming in, and anybody here? And I go, God, that voice sounds so familiar. So come on back. So I was installing a piece of equipment on the floor, tightening the boat up. And I hear, what is this place? And I look, and you see brown cordovan penny loafers, white socks, Bermuda shorts, you know, and then this Hawaiian print stuff that Coach Sutton always wore in the summertime. And I go, oh, hi, Coach. And he goes, what in the world is all this? And I go, it's a dry cleaners. Dry cleaners? And I said, yeah. Well, when are you going to open up? I said, we should be opening up here July 15th. And this is like June. I said, okay. Then he left. Didn't see him. 2 weeks later, he comes back, fully tan. He had gone to, they always go to Florida for 2 weeks, so, with the family and stuff. He said, well, show me around. I said, okay. So I showed him all the equipment and all that, and said, do you know what you're doing? I said, Coach, I've been in business for 30 years. Then this. And he goes, okay. He said, I don't like the cleaners I'm going to right now. They don't do a good job. They don't take spots out. Said, he goes, what would you charge Sean clothes and my clothes? And I said, Coach, I've always wanted to come and watch basketball when I was going to school here, but never did. Never went to a football game, never went to a basketball game. I just didn't have the money. Mm-hmm. My most important thing was to come back to work so I can make money. So he said, I said, I would love to get some basketball tickets and I'll trade you for, and he said, deal. And a couple of weeks go by and he didn't show up. Then he started coming in every day. Then I thought, So, and then he came back with a cane and he had fall and and hurt his back. Remember the days when he had a cane when he walked? Mm-hmm. So I said, Coach, I got a question for you about the basketball tickets. And he goes, you don't want to do those? I said, no. I still want to do that, but where are the tickets going to be? And they're not going to be in the nosebleeds, are they? And he goes, he laughed at me, he kind of smiled, and he goes, he come close to me and said, Baloo, those tickets are going to be so close that you're going to smell the jock strap on those players. Tanya, that's when our relationship started, Coach and I. And I missed him, and we've been good friends since then, until he died. I drove to Tulsa a lot to see him, have lunch with him, watch Western movies with him. That's his favorite, is watch Western movies. Mm-hmm. So we started that relationship, started going watching basketball game. Did not miss one basketball game because it was like an addiction to me, because you never saw basketball and then you watch Coach. I mean, those kids were good, and so he said, I said, Coach, any chance you can come for the opening of the cleaners and cut the ribbon? And it was just a fluke. I didn't think he would do it. He said, Blue, I'll be glad to do it for you. So when we did the ribbon cutting, he was there, and a lot of people was there. So he said, I'm going to help you. And I said, okay. He said, I'm going to make sure all the athletic department people trade with you. So he had his team managers. He said, print something out about the cleaners and give it to me. So we printed about a cleaner hours and all that, and I took it to his office, and he had his team managers put every piece of paper that we printed out about our cleaners in the slots of the athletic department people. And then, and Coach was pretty adamant about a lot of things, that. So we had a lot of business from the athletic department.
Mm.
We also had the equestrian team uniform. We had the golf team, men's and women's golf team. We also had the football game day stuff for the coaches to wear.
Oh.
So we did a lot of stuff with the athletic department, and all the coaches brought their cleaning to us. So, and you know, I left when I was 16, and I missed my dad. And Coach wasn't my dad per se, but he was such a great friend, and just the advice he talks, gives you, the experience that he has gone through, it's just priceless. And like I said earlier, when I asked him one time that, the plane crash really set him back. He said, "Look, there's not a day that goes by that I don't think about those kids and wishing it was me instead of, and the phone calls I had to make to their parents. And we both cried that day, and I've never seen Coach cry, and it was so emotional that day that we both cried for, like I am now, because we lost our kids, our family, in the plane crash, and then you back it up to what happened with Coach Budke. Our family shouldn't suffer 2 plane crashes, but it happened, and my wife always tells me life goes on, but I think after Coach Budke died, it took me 6 months to recuperate from. I was in a very, very bad stage because we were very, very close.
How had you met him?
So he said, "Hey, listen," Coach Sutton said, "When you go to lunch, can you come to Stillwater at 12 o'clock?" No, we always had lunch at 11:30 to beat the crowd. But Coach, can I come like 12? He said, "Okay, we'll get there 11:30. He knew what I wanted, and I know it was exactly the same. I'll order lunch and you come whenever you can." So that day we had me, Coach Budke, Coach Littell, and Coach Sturna. And we had lunch. He said, I want you to meet Coach Budke. And so that's how I met Coach Budke for the first time, through Coach Sutton. And then Coach Sutton retired, and then we started having lunch every other week. It could be different people, but it's always Coach and I who I always I miss him. Coach was one of the kind. So I started building a relationship with Coach Budke because he did the same thing Coach Sutton did about his cleaning. So we started doing his cleaning, and I got seats behind the bench, and just like Coach did, and then Coach Budke and Coach Littell and Coach Erickson and I started playing a lot of golf in the summertime. Coach Budke loved golf, and I don't know if you know Randy Byford or not. His Byford GMC, he died last year, but we spent a lot of summertime playing golf, twice a week, and then we'll play in tournaments and stuff, and we'll have Coach Budke come, Coach Sutton come and eat lunch with us, and so It was a
Good
great,
times.
yeah, good time. So, so
I mean, Coach
So
Sutton.
actually, how we really got close was he called me one day, Coach Budke, and I was in Ponca. We were playing OU that day, the women's. Blue. And Calvin Anthony just brought me an orange jacket. And this was his exact word. It looked like shit. And I go. He said, Coach, you're not telling me that color looked like shit. Oh, no. He said, it came in a box. It's all wrinkled up. I cannot wear that jacket. I wanted to wear it today against OU. He said, anyway, you can, this is like Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. Well, we don't press back there on Saturday. He said, I really want to wear the jacket today. I needed to get it pressed any way you can do it. I said, drop it off at the cleaners, it's open, and I'll take care of it. So I drove I was going to Ponca anyway for the game, but I had to get dressed earlier. So went to Stillwater, started the boiler up and pressed the jacket and got it to him. I think the game started at 1. I got it to him like 12:30. I walked in, gave him the jacket, and I said, put it on, Coach. He put it on, it looked perfect. I still remember he gave me a big old hug, and I felt like I was gone. You know how big he was.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, my thing. And he just, it was the greatest hug that you can ever get from a big guy, Coach Budke was just incredible. He had the same ethics and philosophy as Coach Sutton did. And that's how I started getting close to him and vice versa, because he was just like Coach Sutton. And, coaches have the saying, there's a circle, and they don't let you in the circle. Coaches don't let anybody in the circle. They have to trust you to let you in the circle. And I was very fortunate to be in their circle, because they can say or do whatever, but they know it stayed there. Coach Budke was great about just letting us. Sometimes, we'll play golf, he'll do and say things that maybe not be appropriate, but he knows that that stayed there, I mean, people have asked me to, when they were doing Coach Sutton's book, the film and stuff, and I said, no, I don't want to do that, because it's
yours, yeah.
And that's me, between me and Coach, and there's other people that want to do that, but not me. And but this is important to me because it's part of our family.
Mm-hmm.
So
So you were at the game when he first wore it?
yes,
What can you tell us about that?
that game was just electrifying. It was full house, and we beat OU by, gosh, I can't remember, 30 or 40 points. That's when we had Andrea Riley. She was just throwing threes up there. I remember towards the end, and they were just trying to guard her, and we were trying to kill time. We were up quite a bit, and she threw up a three from mid-court.
And it went in? It was just meant to be that day then?
Yes, and
It was the orange jacket.
yes. So then he wore the orange jacket. And
Did it stay on the entire game? Do you recall?
It did come off once or twice, and then put it back on, and that's just Coach,
Get
Now,
hotter.
Coach Sutton didn't do that much. He always had his going on. I think it came out, well, I remember one game, I think it was a Texas game, that he almost got it, he did get it technical in fact. And he took his coat out, was going to throw it down, and the assistant coach just kind of kept him from doing that. So, but, So Coach Sutton and I spent a lot of time in Tulsa, where I'll take lunch from the country club here. My Beth usually cook lunch. I'll take it over there. This was after Patsy died.
Mm-hmm.
So before that, he always came to Stillwater. We had lunch. So I'll drive. Mary will go with me sometimes, and she'll go see her friends, and I'll go have lunch with them, talk about everything and everything. Very less about basketball, if you believe it or not. We talked about other stuff. I'm the only friend he had that didn't play basketball for him or associated with him by basketball. So it was a different, we talked about different stuff. And we had lunch, and we'll watch Western movies for 3-4 hours, and he'll say, okay, it's time for you to go home. You have a long drive. And I'll stay another 15-20 minutes and come back to Ponca. So that went on, and he had a couple of strokes, and so he died, just stroke and stuff. So,
yeah, and soon after he got into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. I wanted to do that. It was, wish it would have been done a lot sooner.
A lot of people do, yeah.
So, and Coach Sutton was there for me when Coach Budke died, because it took me. So I was at the bank board meeting in Oklahoma City, and the reason I'm mad, actually, if you knew Randy Byford, well, Randy was very good friends with Coach Budke too. We played golf together at Gladia Country Club. So I had a bank board meeting that day, and then I had another bank board meeting the day after. That morning, usually bank board meeting on Thursdays, and then I had an audit committee meeting on Friday. So I usually go play golf after I finish a meeting with Randy, and then spend the night with Randy, and then go to my meeting and then come back home. It's just ironic when Coach died that I was spending the night with Randy. Mm. So at 2:10 in the morning, Shelley Budke called me and said, Coach died in the plane crash. And I just said, Shelley, are you okay? And she said, I said, is Coach okay? He said, Blue, Kurt died in the plane crash. And I just, I started bawling. So then I went over to Randy's bedroom, knocked on the door, and said, I was bawling so hard that he didn't understand me. He said, calm down. And I told him that Coach had died in the plane crash. But Shelley saw us on the phone, and I gave him the phone. So anyway, so backing up, Coach had called me Thursday morning, said, I want you to go to OOHRP, Arkansas with me. And I said, when are you going? He said, I need to leave at 4 o'clock. I said, Coach, I don't think I can get to Stillwater at 4 o'clock. I can at 4:30. I got this meeting. He said, no, I got to go and come back. And I said, go with me. I want you to go with me. Because since you're a pilot, I feel a little bit safer. I said, okay, who are you flying with? He goes, I don't know the pilot's name, him and his wife out of Ponca. And I said, you find out who the pilot is. And now so that day was busy, I was in the meeting and forgot about it. And if I would have known that he was getting in a 50-year-old plane, the pilot was pretty old. He was a senator. What was he?
I think he was in his early 80s, wasn't he?
Yeah, I can't remember. He was a senator in Oklahoma or what. But anyway, I would have said, no way you get on that plane. Because that plane will not carry 4 passengers, you know. And then he said, well, if you're not coming, I'm going to take Coach Sherman with me. I said, Coach, I can't make it there 4 o'clock. So, long story short, you wouldn't be talking to me if I wasn't in the plane. So. But, you know, there's always a reason for everything that happens in life, and I'm supposed to be alive to cheer on our cowboys and cowgirls.
Yeah,
So,
that's right. So you were really good friends in order for Shelley to even call you, be on her list of people to call at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So I was supposed to have lunch with him and Coach Sutton. And he said, Coach called me and said, what time are you going to be there? I told you we always have lunch at 11:30, and I said, probably can't get there till 12. He said, well, I got something that I want to tell you. And I go, okay. If something happens to me, this is way before the plane crash. He said, I want you to take care of Shelley, you know, help her whatever she needs. I said, what are you talking about? He goes, promise me that you will take care of my wife and my kids if something happened to me. I said, Coach, nothing's going to happen to me. You know? Said, I'll see you in an hour or so. He said, no, I don't want to talk about that. I said, I'll talk to you when I get there. He said, no, don't talk about it. You give me your word. I said, half-heartedly, I said, yes. Okay, because that wasn't a subject I wanted to talk about that day, or any day of the day. So I go to lunch, and we have lunch, and we were leaving. He said, remember what I said, right? I said, what'd you say? I already forgot. He goes, you remember our phone call? Oh, yeah. I said, nothing gonna happen to you, he said. He goes, I understand that. But do you remember what we talked about? I said, yes, Coach. So I promised him I'll do that. And he always said he was going to die after he turns 50. So he had a lot of bucket lists. One of the bucket lists was to play Pebble Beach, because it's hard to get on. He said, and Shelley said, Baloo, he really wants to play Pebble Beach. Can you make that happen as his 50th birthday present? I said, I'll see what I can do. So I call over there, and you know, Pebble Beach is such a great place to play, but they're kind of uppity too. So I said, hey, listen, I need to see if there's any opening for this date. And I said, I have a coach that wants to play there. And then on his bucket list, the guy goes, is he dying? I go, why would you ask me that? And he goes, that's what bucket list is, you know. I said, no. I mean, I have bucket lists. I want to play all these golf courses. That doesn't mean I'm dying. He said, okay. All right. So well, we don't have anything. I said, he goes, man. So let me talk to your supervisor. So I talked to the guy, and finally, I want to back the story up because the supervisor asked for is the reason why I did that. Before that, our priest here, young priest, I say young, in the 50s, came to Ponca from Lawton and started being our head priest here. And he played golf. So on Fridays, I played golf with him on his day off. And became really, really good friends. And at that point, I was still a Hindu. Mm. And we play a lot of golf. We did do a lot of Catholic stuff. And never once did he ever ask me how come you how come you're not a Catholic since your wife and your daughter are? And we played a lot of golf, and then one day he calls me and says, "Can you have lunch with me today?" I said, "Sure." So we went to Hunan's over here, had lunch, and he said, "I'm dying." And I said, "Dying of what? Bad golf game?" And he said, "No, I've got a golf size ball tumor in my brain." And I just goes, "No, you don't. So let me take that golf ball out for you." I mean, it didn't show anything, you know. And he said, "Well, I'm dying," he said. And his bucket list was like Pebble Beach.
Mm.
And so he said, before I mean, I got a short time to live, and I got all these things I want to do, but I want to go to Black Pebble Beach with you and my brother and my best friend. And can you make that happen? I go. So I got on the phone immediately, right here, and called Pebble Beach and visited with this guy, and he said, I told him what was going on. I said, "Man, we don't have any opening." But he wanted to stay at the lodge too.
Mm.
So I said, "Can I talk to your supervisor?" So he said, "Why don't you give me a number? I'll have him call. He's on the phone right now." So he calls me back and said, "Hey man, there's any way you can do this for a dying man?" He goes, "What kind of cancer does he have?" He said, I told him, you know, he said, "You know, my mom has the same cancer. She's going to die here in a couple of weeks." And he said, "I'll make that happen for you." So he got us booked on Pebble. He gave us the hotel. It's right, sitting right in front of number 18 green, which is really, everybody wants to stay there. It's hard to find, and overlooking the ocean, obviously. And the ocean was, the bay area right there was called Stillwater Cove.
Mm.
And so I made that happen. We blew up around, we met, and we all flew, and the church raised so much money for for Father Larkin that his whole trip was paid for.
Mm.
So I did that, and he died, and I spoke at his funeral and all that, and you know, when your parent die, you hurt a lot. But you know, then a priest dies, and you go, "Why is God doing this?" He was so good with people, so good with kids. And I said, "Father, how? I don't understand this. Why is God taking you away when you were so good at what your job, with kids, with friends?" And he says, "God needs me more there than he does than here." But you can't argue with that. So when Budke wanted to go on his trip, I had already had the inside connection, and I told, when I called over there, and I said, "Let me talk to so and so," and he was a supervisor, so he got us the same thing, the same setup as I did with Father Larkin. So we land, we drive about an hour and a half to Pebble. He didn't want to stop for lunch or anything. He wants to go there. Coach Budke wanted to go there. I swear, Tanya, he walks in, goes out the door, 18 green, Stillwater Bay, the ocean. You know, you see in the movie about somebody goes and then the background's all gone, all the people, you know. We felt like that he was the only person there that day. Everybody else wasn't there. So and I think he knew he was going to die.
Mm.
It's the strangest thing that he knew he was going to die when he turns 50. He didn't know. He didn't know how or when, but he knew he was going to die because that day when he walked out, I felt it. I felt like he was there by himself and nobody else was there. And he had accomplished his bucket list. And he's ready to go. So, if you ask Shelley when next time, he always told people he's going to die after his 50th birthday. I mean, it wasn't just me. He'll tell other people too. So,
how did he play that day? Do you get any holes in one?
he played, Coach wasn't a great golfer. He had this big old slice that he had. But he loved golf. Played good. We played golf. The girls did their thing. And I remember him and I had went and got a massage one of those days. I can't remember which. So we go get a massage, and they said, go into the steam room to just relax. And I go to the steam room, come out, and Coach Budke goes and come out. He's like a tomato, red as it could be. And I just started cracking up. And he said, what are you laughing at? I said, this is what a white boy looked like after they come out of the steam room, like a tomato. But so you often wonder why God takes good people away. When he was so great with everything he did. So was Coach. So did Father Larkin. So that question has never been answered except Father Larkin said God needs him more than here. So maybe it's true with Coach Budke. So. I think we would have won a national championship with Coach Budke.
They finished the season pretty strong.
Yes.
Afterwards, if I recall.
Yeah. And Coach Littell was really the glue that kept everybody together.
In fact, Coach Sutton was the glue that kept everyone together in the first one.
And then Coach Sutton had gone and talked to the girls too after Coach died. And so, besides my parents dying, which I know why my mom died because of cancer. Then my dad just didn't want to live anymore.
Willed himself to.
Well, exactly. That's the word. Yeah, but I know why Coach Budke, Coach Sutton died. But Father Larkin, Coach Budke, it's just hard to swallow. And like I said, it took me 6 months to get out of that after Coach Budke died. Because I knew why Father Larkin died of cancer. And I knew Coach Sutton was going to die eventually, but that's because of his drinking and his strokes and all that stuff. So you can come to terms with all those, but Coach Budke, you just don't. You just never will. Because you got this guy over here shot 3 people and is in jail. Then you got Coach Budke that have thousands of kids, family, friends. You never ever, get an answer for that. So,
I understand it.
But all I know that I've lost a great friend. Oklahoma State really lost the greatest coach ever. In a different way than Coach Sutton, And Coach Sutton obviously is the greatest basketball coach, no question about it. when you have Gallagher pulled 13,612,
And they're all screaming.
and
Yeah.
Coach Budke did the same thing. Coach Sutton was all the time. Coach Budke was just OU games, and so
And Coach Budke would only wear the blazer
once a year,
for the OU games.
Yeah.
Whether it was there or here, or did it have to be at home?
just at home.
Just at home.
Yeah, he never wore it over there. I could be mistaken, but I never saw him wear it outside. It stayed at Gallagher. And then Coach Ford, obviously, Coach Ford wore it right after the second year. And then, so we played OU and we won that game, and he gave Shelley the winning ball. He signed it, and Shelley came into the locker room, and that was kind of cool. So,
Do you know where the blazer is now?
I think it's still
In
there.
Gallagher somewhere?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think Ford took it. He had contemplating of taking it.
It'd have to be altered, wouldn't it?
Well, Ford had his own orange jacket.
Okay, I didn't know that. I should have asked that. So
Yeah,
it wasn't
yeah,
Budke's
they-
jacket then.
No. Budke's jacket either it's still at Gallagher or Shelley has it. So
Well, they displayed it during the memorial. I remember that.
So-
it was on the
okay, so
on the chair.
they have it then. Yeah, they still have it. So
And Coach
if you
Coach Boynton I've seen him wear Once, maybe?
Yeah, he wore it once. Only at the OU game. But Circle of Life, I always question myself. So I'm a little kid from Malaysia, 10,000 miles away. I come here, go to school, Ponca High School, and then got to meet Coach Sutton, became good friends, and Coach Budke became really good friends. And then you go, how did that happen?
Mm.
Why did it happen? It's all about orange. And
orange, yes.
if I would have gone to OU, would this ever happen? Probably not. Any school per se. No.
I just listened to you though. You would have been successful no matter where you were though, because you had that work ethic and determination.
Right, but
Success,
success is great.
but not the friendships.
Happiness,
Yeah, it's different.
it would be different. I get up every morning, come to my office, I look at this, I look at what Coach write to me, I look at the orange in my office, and I look at my wife and I go, I'm blessed. I'm very blessed to be able to accomplish what I have, give back to the school. I mean, a lot of foreign kids go home, they don't never think about their school,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
Nevertheless, send money. So I have managed to give money home, send money home, and managed to give a lot to OSU. So, like I said, I'm always so blessed with my family and my OSU family, but which those two critical people in my life, Coach Sutton and Coach Budke. But I have to mention this. When Coach Budke died, somebody that was picked me up and talked to me a lot was Coach Bratton, Alan Bratton, the golf coach, men's golf coach. He'll call me, we'll have lunch, and he knew I didn't have that anymore, having lunch with, so, and we're still good friends, and he was there for me.
Mm.
My wife was, I think at point she was beginning to think that I wasn't going to come back to life, but I'll come to work and go back and go to sleep.
Mm.
I did that for a very long time. Finally, she said, you know, just want to tell you this, so now I won't bug you anymore. Life's for living. Life is for the living. You can't be dead for us, which is what you are right now. You're like a zombie. And that's it. So that kind of hit me that I'm not there for my family. And I can't do anything for Coach Budke. He's gone. He can be in my memory, which he is every day, you know. And but you know, this may be choppy story. I'm going back and forth, but as I talk to you, I'm pulling stuff from my memories, and so after Coach died, remember the promise I made to him.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't even have a will. Coaches are bad about stuff like that.
Mm.
They're so busy with their coaching life that they forget about their personal life. So I spent about a year with Shelley, getting everything in order, because without a will, it goes to probate, right?
Right.
So one of Shelley's friend, husband was an attorney, and we created a will and made everything smoother for her. Had a meeting with Holder and I'm trying to think about the attorney's name that retired for the school. He's retired.
Harkis? President Harkis?
No. Anyway, he was legal counsel for.
Oh, Gary Clark.
So him and Gary Clark came to Shelley's house, and we had a meeting about what the school can do. Because, and they said, well, there's nothing we can do. You know, he died during work, and he goes into work when come. I said, you're kidding me. So obviously you can at least give him a year's worth of salary or something. So well, we'll see what we can do. With my knowledge of what I needed to look for, where to look for, who to call. About a year later, and everything was done, and she's in a good place. Mm-hmm. So I often tell you, okay, I'm done with my promise. So you know, I took care of, you know, and make sure the kids got scholarship to go to school at OSU. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I've done what I promised him I'd do. So that doesn't take away from him not being here. But of all person he could have asked, he had lots of friends, especially Coach Littell, who was his right-hand man. He asked me, so I was very honored to be able to do that. And
well, he knew you'd follow through since you got him on Pebble and you got him a jacket.
Yeah. So, but I think that Warren Jacket was the one that started everything, my relationship with him. Because he was so grateful that I did it. And so he kind of did this, took me under his arm, and like I said, we did a lot of stuff.
Well, were you attending women's basketball games at that time? Or did you have good?
Yes, I was. He had given us tickets for.
So he was familiar with all of that with you and.
Yes.
For you, so.
Yeah. You know, only thing that he didn't know that jacket was coming in a box. So.
Okay, it was a surprise.
Yeah. It was a surprise from Calvin Anthony, but he wasn't, just didn't know he was going to hit it down in the box. And so for me to make that trip from Ponca to do that, he was very honored, and that, our friendship started getting better then. But,
Like, I wasn't in the arena that I could imagine that it would probably just erupted when he came out with that orange jacket on.
I'm not sure if any coach ever did something like that to just start a frenzy. I mean, if you could, you need to go back and see if you can look at that. I think it was like 2011.
Well, plane crash was in 2011.
Okay, maybe.
So I was thinking I think I looked that up. It's like 2008 maybe. Was when they
maybe
February
the 6th of 2010.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's February the 6th. It was a Saturday. Maybe because the next year, Coach Ford wore that jacket. So not that jacket per se, but
Yeah, I've got it that Coach Ford wore one in January of 2012. So that's right after the
yeah.
right after.
So it's got to be 2010 is when the first time he wore that. So
And then for a while there was a golf tournament. The
I
Orange Blazer
started
Classic.
that golf tournament. Me, Red Sorning, and Byford. The first tournament was held at Gladia Country Club. We raised a total of $198,000, the biggest golf tournament ever, as far as a small golf tournament goes. I mean, not PGA and stuff, but
Yeah.
this is just a private tournament that raised. We wrote Shelley a check after expenses for $148,000, which she was allowed to do whatever she wanted with the money for the kids and stuff. So this really helped with everything. So then we had it a couple more years, and then the athletic department took over and had it, and then it's no longer there. They just kind of honor somebody who died every 5 years, and that's how it went. So, yeah. We wanted to make sure that so there's a lot of people who wrote a lot of big checks. So, I'm blessed to know him. I've known him, and I'm honored that he asked me to do what he asked me, and I'm grateful that I've accomplished everything he asked me to do. And the golf tournament was a plus. Yeah. I remember that $198,000. We were trying to get $200,000. We couldn't get that.
Well, if you had lunch so many times with both of the coaches, what was their favorite food of choice?
Coach Sutton and I always had salad with chicken. Coach Budke always had some kind of meat. Coach Littell was the same way. Coach Serrano always had salad. Coach Bratton always had a hamburger. Matt Grantham will usually have a salad. But Coach and I had salad pretty much every time we had lunch together.
I just wondered if you one had a barbecue fetish.
So, I'm glad you asked me that because I almost forgot. He always wanted to play golf at Gladia Country Club in Oklahoma City on Wednesdays. Coach Budke did. And Wednesdays were a really bad day for me here because we're busy. And I said, can we do it some other day? Nope, gotta be Wednesday. So we always play golf Wednesdays and Fridays. Play Friday either here, he'll come here with Coach Littell, or I'll go to Stillwater. So, we did this for a long time. After he died, I found out why he wanted to go to Gaudiya Country Club on Wednesday, because that's when they serve barbecue ribs for lunch. And he loved ribs.
Wow.
So, and you know, I'm always good about what I eat, so I'll eat sourdough. And my favorite food is Chinese. So, if I don't have Chinese, then I'll order salad or something healthy. So
You'll make it to 100.
yeah,
Be sporting your orange even then.
yeah. So I think, like I said, I think our school's in great shape with Dr. Trump. And
Well, one of the questions I like to ask too is, how do you think OSU's done about keeping their promise to remember all of these people? They made the promise to always remember.
you know, that's a good question. I'm not sure if they are. You know, but you know, since we had the COVID year and things are kind of slipping,
Yeah.
so I think they need to get back and do a better job.
Yeah.
And you know, the athletic department has been very good about keeping in touch with old players, especially football. You know, that all that. I think they're doing a better job. I think basketball does a good job doing it, but we have to thank the people that has given us so much joy. Whether it's football, basketball, tennis, you know, each coaches have to make sure that they invite the old players back.
Mm-hmm.
That's so important to keep the continuity going.
Mm-hmm.
You know, hey, who knows? This player's son is is great. Maybe he doesn't know anything about OSU. Maybe you invite them and his family and watch basketball, football. Maybe we don't know that. You know, this player is a billionaire that has not donated anything to OSU. You know, my wife's 60th birthday, I surprised her with were you there?
Yes.
Okay, great.
I did not put two and two together until about a week ago. So.
Okay.
But go ahead and finish the story.
But
Dedicated.
she's a nut. My wife was a reading nut. She'll have, you know, stack up books about that much that she started reading, and she'll read 5-6 books at a time, you know. And
So they named a study room.
And she loves the library. So, and I could have bought her anything, but that naming a study room after her was the best present I can ever give her. And she
was totally surprised. She didn't have a clue.
No. I think Sheila and I had kept everything pretty quiet, and Sheila did a great job. You know, I think it was hard on her, but it was, you know, that's. I mean, what better place to give back than the library, right? I stole a magazine from the library. That's how my career started, right? So
You didn't return it, huh?
I did return it, yes. A couple of weeks later I did, but I used to be so tired because I worked nights and sometimes we don't get any sleep. I mean, I function with 3-4 hours of sleep for a long time, and sometimes I would go in the library, find someplace quiet to just snooze.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so grateful that, you know, you could do that at the student union, but people always in and out, you know. And library seems like a quiet, you know, I always find a quiet place to just snooze for 30, 40 minutes and go back to class. And, in the wintertime, I usually take a nap in the car, but wintertime is so cold.
Yeah.
I don't want to start the car up because I didn't have money for gas. So it was just a big circle that you're trying to just complete. And is my circle complete now? No, I still want to do a lot, and I still want a team to win, a national championship. And my daughter, wanted to get married and have grandkids before I died. But
So what's next on your bucket list? That's reachable.
I think I don't have a bucket list.
I
I've
didn't.
pretty much done everything and did what I wanted to do.
To go to the Final Four again with the OSU would be.
No, I like to see our football team and win a national championship. Basketball, I like to see a Big 12 flag up there for basketball. We haven't had that in a long time. But
Parachute, or have you already done that?
I want to do that.
Okay.
I am not. As a pilot,
Yes.
you don't jump out of perfectly good airplane.
Perfectly good plan.
No, I don't do that. So, we're leaving Friday with the team to go to New York. They invited us. We went to the Bahamas with them. So, those are bucket lists. When you can spend time with them, the team that you love, and what else can you ask for? It's a privilege to be in that plane with the coaches and the players, and go to watch film and shoot around and watch the game and come home. So we're flying out tomorrow, and we'll have all day. I mean, not Friday. We'll have all day Saturday to go and look at the lights and stuff. And Sunday is the game, and we'll watch the game and come home. So, I mean, it's nothing like flying charter. You get there in less than 2.5 hours to New York and back, and we'll be home. We'll be in Florida by, I think, 5 o'clock Sunday. So, this was a great honor for us.
You said that was recently,
Yeah, this was May, I think.
and it was the
It's called Proud and Immortal.
Proud and Immortal. Okay.
After you donate $1 million, you get into that society. So, life is good. Life is good for exchange student from Malaysia.
And
It's very good.
have you planned ahead to show someone your spread of things and point someone else in the same similar direction, mentor or whatever?
I haven't found the right person yet. I'm looking. I have started the search. I haven't found the person yet. I need to.
How did you come up with the name Peter Pan?
It was just the name that I bought. Billy and W. Hogan. It was the third generation in Ponca. His grandfather owned it, his father owned it, he owned it, and then I bought it. So it's a great name.
It is. It is.
It's a everybody can associate with the name.
Do you know how he came? How it?
I do not.
Got history of
And
that.
when I asked WD when before he died, he said they
They
just
didn't
picked the
know.
name. There's another cleaners in Tulsa with that name. There's the only reason I knew that because I got a box that I ordered some supplies and it came in here, and somehow it says Tulsa, and it came to me, and then I called that guy and said, yeah. And then he didn't know there was a Peter Pan here either, so.
Yeah.
But
So retirement's on the horizon.
it is. I'm looking at maybe 3 years from now.
And moving to Stillwater where you can go to everything really quick.
That's our goal. So driving so much, and
You'll be playing Karsten Creek every day.
maybe. But I think people need to give more. They need to be passionate about their school and not take things for granted. Oh, I paid enough money to the school for tuition, but I don't need to pay them anymore. But me personally, like I told you before, the more you give, the more you receive. It's just hitting the nail on the head. It's just, I'm the living proof of that. So, great. I guess it's like everything else when you love something so much that you want to take care of that. Whether it's your daughter, your son, your parents, your school, I hope that our country survive what's going on right now. And be the country that we always have been, the big brother of the world. We have people that vets in the street that we don't take care of. We have people that are dying every day that are U.S. citizens that we don't take care of. Yet we have 3 million people come through the border that we're taking care of. That we need to take care of our people here. We really do. Our people are suffering. We're not doing a good job taking care of them. Just like when you asked me about taking care of Remember the 10. There has to be consistency in life, and we're not consistent. The other day they had that fundraiser for kids don't have food to eat. For them through the foundation, you know what I'm talking about? Well, that's me. But I didn't hesitate to donate money to that because I know that there are actually kids out there that don't have money to eat, like me. I mean, I didn't get any money from anybody. I managed with what I made, chili dog, 2 glasses of water.
And Raceroni.
Yeah. But I donated, I can't remember how much I donated, but this is the first time I've got an email like that. And I'm sure this last year that email didn't get to me, and I didn't donate, so like I said, people need to give for the good of the country, for the good of the world, because you can't take it with you, so. But I'm just different. I'm just unique. I love my school so much, I love my wife and kids, and there's nothing that I wouldn't do for my wife and kids. It's just Oklahoma State, so. But we lost 2 great people, so. I get emotional when I talk about them, I talk about OSU, because that's just.
They mean a lot to you.
But like I said, not every student that went to OSU feels OSU like I do. I feel OSU, Some kids, I went to OSU, but do you feel OSU? I always thought it was funny when people talk about, bleeding orange. But I think I do, I know my blood's red, but I think you have to have orange in your blood to be passionate about it.
Yes.
So,
And OSU's got quite a few people that feel that way, are loyal and true.
yeah.
You know, have their pride, and
It's
you learn to say howdy and yes ma'am and no ma'am.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, honestly, that question is said I could have done anything I wanted to do because I had passionate and wanted to, even though I wanted to do school somewhere else. But true, but would I be this passionate, this happy doing? No. I think I would have been one of those students that went to school at OU and never remembered OU. You know, I would have something about this town and being able to meet with Coach, and those two coaches made me who I am. So, and this town, Ponca did too. So.
So Oklahoma in general.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you took the plunge.
My wife, when she came to OSU, and her dad called her and said, "Hey, I went to the post office today trying to mail a package to you, and they didn't know where Oklahoma was." So that's the mentality of a lot of people, East Coast and West Coast. But gosh, what a great state we'll live in. You know, that people are decent, people are happy for the most part, and people are honest in Oklahoma too. That, in my books. I mean, Ponca, greatest people here. Greatest people here. I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for the people that supported me throughout this, since 1985.
Yeah, at some point you would have had to take the citizenship test.
1990.
Yeah.
I got my green card in 70, came in 75, 77, 78. Then I got my U.S. citizenship in 1990. So
It was a happy day.
it's a very happy day. I had at that point decided U.S. citizenship or Malaysian citizenship. I had to give the Malaysian citizenship up, which I was glad to do because, gosh, I was 16 when I moved here. I spent most of my adult life in Ponca City, Oklahoma. So that was great. That was a great day. And my wife was there, and it's like I said, I'm so blessed to be a U.S. citizen and be able to do what I can do to my school, and other stuff we do too. So, and like I said, I've met great people like Pat Rooney that owned that bank. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have any part of that bank, so people like W.D. Hogan,
And thank goodness Eddie Sutton was curious enough to come and say, "What's going on in here?"
Yeah. Otherwise, would I have had a successful dry cleaning business in Stillwater? Maybe not. But I do know that Coach Sutton he did everything possible for me to be successful there. So.
Well, you might not have been as intertwined with the basketball.
Exactly.
Without that.
And you're absolutely right on that statement. If it wasn't for Coach Sutton, I wouldn't have got involved in basketball. I wouldn't have been close to the athletic department, period. So, yes,
You started
Yeah.
that string over.
Yeah, and you go back and like I said,
Yeah.
how do this happen?
Yes.
I met Coach Sutton one time in Ponca. He was on number 6 green for a Boy Scout tournament, and he was on the green putting. And I met him then I remembered him throughout that. I grew up playing a lot of badminton and soccer. Was basketball something that I was craving about? No. Football? No. Tennis? Yes. Because but basketball? No. If it wasn't for Coach Sutton, I wouldn't be in Stillwater. I wouldn't have got close to
Kurt.
Yeah. And this happened because of Coach.
Hmm.
My money would have gone somewhere else. I may still have it. You know what I mean? But it's because of Coach that got me into basketball, got me into women's basketball. And then Coach Gundy brought his cleaning to the cleaners because of Coach Sutton. And then I started giving back. So
Coach Sutton graduated from OSU too, so
Yes.
he was intertwined
Yeah.
quite a bit with
So
OSU.
I guess you're right. If it wasn't for Coach Sutton, I would not have been this close to my alma mater.
Mm.
So I owe Coach Sutton. This is one of his posse options that we met in.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
So as a roundup, that's answered most of my questions. Do you have any advice for current or future OSU students?
I think you go out and meet as many people as you can meet. Hopefully, that one person that would be part of your life or boost your life or career, like Coach Sutton did to me. There's a lot of other people for me to thank throughout my life. Coach will be top of my list. Coach Budke, Pat Rooney, a guy by the name of George Harmon that was pretty instrumental in my life. We played a lot of badminton. A guy by the name of Dale Miller, who was a geophysicist at Conoco. There's a lot of people in my life that have contributed to my success, but I say success doesn't come to you. You have to go get success. And everybody tells me that, I'm going to sit here and it'll come to me. If you don't work for it, you don't get it. If you don't work on your relationship, and trust is the word I always use, because without trust, you don't have anything. Coach Budke had to let me in his circle, Coach Sutton had to let me in the circle because they trusted me. Pat Rooney trusts me. He let me in the banking circle, So in my life experience, I think life is easy. I think people make it hard. If you just remember that, obviously life is hard as it is, but you don't have to make it harder. There's things in life that you can say, it's not worth causing a ruckus over this or a ruckus over that.
And if you give your word, keep it.
Yeah. I am a living proof of what a person can accomplish
Yes.
if they set their mind to.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't given the opportunity that the normal people got. We grew up sleeping on the floor, all for 8 hours. Mom and dad had a bed. We slept on the floor with a little, mat. I did that till I moved to the U.S.
Mm.
The first bed I slept in was in San Francisco in a hotel room.
Mm.
Like I said, I'm blessed.
You're
I'm
blessed.
very, very blessed to be in this country. Very, very blessed to be in Ponca. I'm glad I went to OSU and get to meet Coach Sutton.
Well, I wish you was lucky you made all those decisions to come up the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another
It served
thing,
you well.
I was by myself when I was 16 on,
Mm-hmm.
and I learned to make decisions on my own. I didn't have mom and dad to tell me what to do or this is what you should do. So I think by having to make decisions on your own at a young age made me a better person by far to be able to handle life itself. So whatever problems I had, whatever decisions I had to make, I made it. I didn't ask mom and dad, or I didn't ask.
So you couldn't blame anyone but yourself if it didn't pan out.
And believe me, that has happened. But what do they say? The best experience you can achieve is the decisions you make in life, whether it's good or bad,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
And I'm not saying I've made bad decisions, but I learned from it.
Learn from it and move on. Yeah.
If you don't learn from your mistakes, then you have never learned anything in life. You have to learn from your mistakes. That's what makes you the better person in life. So you don't make that same mistake again,
Mm-hmm.
but you learn from it. So I made some bad mistakes, bad choices, because I didn't know any better. Did it hurt me? Maybe, maybe not, but I'm sitting here with using my brains and what I wish he taught me.
Mm-hmm. And your support in your school and your team.
And the people and the kids go, I don't know why I'm taking this class. It's not going to help me in my life at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've heard that before,
I've heard
right?
that lots, yes.
And believe me, I have questioned that myself. But I think, whether you know it or not, in a roundabout way, everything you learn in life, you're going to use. Whether it's in a class, or whether me and you talking, or what Kurt Sutton told me, or what Father Larkin told me, whether they're right or wrong, but it's a life lesson that you learn so you can pursue the rest of your life. Maybe dipping into what they say, maybe not, but I've never got thrown in jail, my life it's the best life I can live. I wish my life would have been a little better when I was going to college, where I could have enjoyed sports, going to the bars. I never went to a bar till recently. We have an apartment there, and we share with a couple that live in Ponca, so we can go to all the games. And I'm the DD. I don't drink, so I take them and bring them back. So, but life experience is what let go. It just is priceless, and if you don't learn from that,
And
then
it makes us who we are today.
then your life should be hard, right?
Right.
I have accomplished a lot. We are in such a good place. My wife and I are, and my daughter. I work every day, regardless whether I'm needed or not. I come to work every day, unless I'm gone. So, I wish every kid that goes to a college that learn, not because the mom and dad told them that that's what they need to do, because they need to get the knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
The knowledge they get from, the knowledge I got from Oklahoma City is priceless. It's a unique university that people don't realize. It's a gift there. You need to appreciate it and learn everything. It's no better than your parents teaching you when you're growing up, do this, not to do this.
Mm-hmm.
University is not telling you what to do, but they're teaching you how to be successful in life. And if you don't, you're paying for it, you might as well grab it all.
Yes.
Another set of students are going to come in. So,
I'm thinking, and you should do your term papers with determination and whatever that you do.
And without the term paper, would I be where I am?
Yep, maybe not.
Maybe, probably not. I'll be working for Ponca and be probably not be very happy. So, because I love customers come in,
Yes.
talking to them, and they're all different, right?
Right.
And they all have their problems. And sometimes, I'm almost like a bartender. You listen to their problems, and go, "Oh, I'm so sorry," But then I come back and say, why is that person in that bad of a shape when they could have done this and this and this, and but because you got yourself into that position. The only one that can get you out is you, but you shouldn't have been in that position to start with. So,
Well, your parents gave you a good foundation to help you on your way.
Yeah, but that's that word we never use much, do we? Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
We have our foundation that we put money into, like Coach said, but family foundation is not there anymore. It's eroding away. When you grew up, mom and dad was there to teach you the things of life to grow up. And so, with 8 kids, mom was still there. Every time we come home from school, we always look for my mom. We don't look for my dad. We know he's not there. Mom, we gotta have mom. But I think that's the thing that is eroding away from our family foundation. And it hurts because parents are too busy. Either having 2 jobs or they're too busy they want to go. I never played golf till a lot later in life when I was successful in business, But did golf help my business? Oh my God. Did golf help my relationship with Budke? Oh yes. I became good friends with Darren Trump, partly because of golf, partly because of women's basketball, men's basketball. He sits right in front of me, and we talk, we text, and I go, I might text him the president's husband, But
So have you got any holes in one?
do I? Yes.
One?
I have three actually.
Okay.
I don't have a, this is when Anna was born, and that was September the what?
The 28th,
28th?
1997.
Anna was born September 18th, 1997. So we brought Anna from Integris in Oklahoma City. Then her parents flew in to take care of, and so on that day, my mother-in-law said, "You and Eddie need to leave the house. Go away. Go play golf. Do whatever you want to do. Because we don't want you guys here." I said, "Okay." So we played golf, and I got a hole in one, and always thought that Hindus always believe that your kid bring you good luck in life, and I had hole in one that day, and came home and told Mary Beth that our daughter's the luckiest daughter we can have. She goes, "Why?" And said, "I had a hole in one today," and with my father-in-law there. So I had two more since then, but the Hindu always believed that your kids bring you good luck, and Anna has definitely done that too. So I played a lot of golf, a lot of different places. I got a good buddy that used to live here, lives in Houston now. He's owns a big company, compressor company. And we'll take a good trip somewhere, I'll fly down to Houston and I'll jump on, a charter, a jet and fly to Cabo. Then he flew down here, we'll play golf with Carson, and then he took me to the Ryder Cup. So, and next year we're going to go out to Bandon Dunes up in Oregon. So, I just don't know. I can't have a better life than I'm very blessed, is all I can say. It all started from nothing. And
Well, and that's a good place to end then.
Yeah,
and so thank you very much for
Yeah.
sharing with us today.
it's I may be rattling out, but that's just coming out from my brain, my heart. But I should.
So go Pokes.
Yeah.
Go Pokes.
Yeah. We
Take the Big
Well-
Apple by storm.
we're in a good place.
Yeah.
Life is good.
Okay.
Yeah, I think our university is in a good place. We shut the portal hole down, we'll be in good shape, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. But gosh, what a country!
Mm-hmm.
What a country! That's why everybody wants to come here.
Well, I'm glad you did. And
Yeah, and I did it the legal way, so.
all right, and we'll say thank you and
Okay,
end it
thank
up.
you.
End it.